Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my podcast series on discussing intelligence types and how we should properly measure intelligence among children, among young adults. We are using, if you're following all the previous ones, The Frames of Mind, a work written by Howard Gardner, a psychologist with Harvard back in 1983. Later on, we shall extend this to Vedic astrology and even do some case studies of how you can measure the actual normal intelligence and, the proportions of it, because all of us have all of this, only in varying degrees. So we shall check that with some actual case studies. That should become interesting. But follow the logic first, follow the basic premise, if you will. Okay, unless we understand some basics, we'll not know what the advanced version is. So in this one, we are discussing linguistic intelligence. This is the intelligence of words, meaning, expression, and human communication. If you think astrology, it's Mercury 101, isn't it? Why this intelligence build leaders, thinkers, writers, and change makers? Every era is shaped by people who can articulate ideas, influence through language, and translate thought into clarity. This is an age of tweeting, El Presidente tweeting in the middle of the night, tweeting, name calling, commenting on YouTube channels. You name it, isn't it? Social media is just basically one loudspeaker. So from teachers to lawyers, writers to psychologists, diplomats to leaders, linguistic intelligence fuels how you think, what you will communicate, and how you will communicate that also. So essentially, this linguistic intelligence, according to Howard Gardner, includes ideation, thinking and remembering through internal dialogue, internal language, what neuro-linguistic program calls audio-digital, internalized thought process. Functional literacy, understanding how language works, its rules and structure, grammar, for example. Self-regulation, analyzing one's own use of language, something that Indians need to learn a lot of. They're good in understanding English grammar, but kind of poor in how to communicate and articulate. We could do a whole thing in your company if Indians are looking at this. I gladly would jump in. There's so much you need to learn about communicating. Adaptation, applying language to new contexts effortlessly. Oral expression, articulating thoughts verbally and clarity is so needed, isn't it? How you express, what do you express? See Dr. Jaishankar, for example, Indian External Affairs Minister, how well he articulates his thought. Written expression, expressing ideas with structure and precision. Students with strong linguistic intelligence, since we are talking about schools and intelligence tests here, appreciate grammar, nuance, and meaning. They can spell easily and instinctively. They love wordplay, puns, jokes, riddles. They use descriptive, vivid language. These kids come naturally with this, isn't it? Some kids in the class may have this. Teachers will know this. Parents will know this. Tell stories with a natural flow. Learn through discussion, dialogue, and reading. They demonstrate understanding through essays, speeches, or debates. They are not just good readers and writers. They are cognitive organizers. How to identify linguistic intelligence in children. Children who carry this intelligence speak early in the development process, develop a wide vocabulary very quickly. They ask detailed questions. They enjoy storytelling, jokes, rhymes, and word games. They memorize poems, dialogues with ease. They describe emotions quite vividly. Their observations are quite detailed. They prefer reading, listening, or speaking to hands-on tasks. They learn new concepts through explanation. They like verbiage, essentially, rather than demonstration, because they're not dominantly visual, right? Imaginative stories or dialogues, they are talkative, but we label them in school as talkative. They are language-wired, processing, gorgeous beings, okay? It all depends upon what your eyesight and what your perception internally, isn't it? How do you choose to look at it? Teachers are to blame, in my opinion and experience, for judging all kinds of young adults in the classroom, all kinds of children in the classroom. The early labels that you have been slapped on by some adult who didn't know better, pretty stupid, they just might have a degree but nothing else. We need to teach our children properly. We need to hire proper teachers. As they mature, in young adults, they have stronger persuasive communication, natural ability to teach, mentor, or explain concepts, very important, ease with essays, presentations, speeches, and debates. They have sensitivity to tone, messaging, and meaning, capability to write clearly, succinctly, and creatively, strong memory for verbal information, deep interest in reading, ideas, culture, literature, communication. So, how can we improve our education systems to incorporate this right from school, college, university, everywhere? What should we do to test this also? Curriculum. We are talking about curriculum reform here. Discussion driven learning, dialogue, group reflection, Socratic kind of questioning through language. Okay. Number two, creative writing modules, poetry, narratives, short stories, descriptive passages, scripts. Encourage this in the classroom. Reading, thinking workshops. Reading is not decoding, it's meaning making. Teach inference, metaphor, and symbolism. Vocabulary through context, not through memorization. I hope Indian policymakers are listening to this. They're coming up with new education stuff. No memorization. Stop making memorization slaves and calling them whatever, professionals. Real usage, storytelling, conversation, not lists. Structured debates and public speaking, argument building, persuasion, active listening, something we don't do. I've spoken about this in the corporate training playlist. Okay, multilingual exposure. Languages strengthen cognitive flexibility and verbal patterning. Peer review and self assessment. This works very strong in children. Let one peer review the other. Not by judgment, not by competition, by collaboration. Real world communication tasks, emails, presentations, podcasts, content creation, and interviews. Essentially, bottom line now. The bottom line is we need to encourage this kind of intelligence. Sure, they are not talkative children or young adults, of course not. They're good at something, and we need to come from that perspective. The problem that happens here, if we don't build it into the curriculum, is you will have a teacher in the classroom with very poor communication skills. I've had a dozen of those, so ask me. And they will put down children in the classroom who are asking a lot of questions. Well, you are not qualified, so you feel handicapped in that. You may be good in something else, Mr. or Miss Teacher, but your student is good at something else. This is the reason why you should build into the curriculum. You can't rely on one individual to fulfill all kind of intelligences, isn't it? You are yourself handicapped by what kind of intelligence you have. Same way. I shall see you in the next. Take care. Be safe.